Welcome. Tonight we are going to leave the dry sands of the desert and move toward the edge of the world, where the land meets the cold, deep blue of the Atlantic. Imagine yourself standing on a jagged cliff in the year 1845. The air is thick with the scent of salt and damp stone, and the only sound is the rhythmic, heavy thrum of the tide pulling against the rocks far below. You're the keeper of this light, and your world is one of small essential duties, performed in a silence so profound, it feels like a physical weight. There is no hurry here. The ocean has been moving in this way for eons, and your only task is to remain as steady as the light you tend. The day begins not with the sun, but with the fading of the morning stars. You wake in a small circular room at the base of the tower, where the walls are 3 feet thick and painted a soft, chalky white. The bed is narrow and firm, covered in a heavy wool blanket that smells faintly of cedar and wood smoke. You lie there for a moment, listening to the wind whistling through the narrow window slit, a low, hollow sound that never truly stops. Your movements are slow and practiced as you swing your feet onto the cold stone floor, feeling the grit of salt and the smooth texture of the masonry. There's a deep peace in this solitude, a sense that the rest of the world is a distant memory, and your only reality is the tower and the sea. Your first task of the morning is the cleaning of the lamp, a ritual that requires patience and a steady hand. You climb the spiral stone staircase, each step worn into a gentle curve by the passage of your boots over many years. The air grows cooler and saltier as you ascend until you reach the lantern room at the very top. The glass panes are vast and thick, slightly green at the edges, and covered in a fine crust of salt spray from the night storms. You take a soft linen cloth and a bucket of fresh water, beginning at the top and working your way down in slow circular motions. You watch the water bead and trail down the glass, clearing away the haze until the horizon becomes sharp and clear once more. The brass housing of the great lens is your pride. It is a massive, intricate construction of glass prisms designed to catch every stray beam of light and focus it into a single piercing spear that reaches miles into the darkness. You take a small tin of polishing paste and a piece of chamois leather, rubbing the metal until it glows with a warm, golden luster. You can see your own reflection in the brass, distorted and soft as you work. There's no sound up here but the squeak of the leather against the metal and the distant, muffled cry of a lone gull circling the gallery. You do not rush. Every inch of the brass must be perfect for the light. Depends on the clarity of its surroundings. Once the glass is clean, you must tend to the mechanical heart of the light. The rotation is governed by a heavy set of weights that hang down the center of the tower, slowly descending through the hours of the night. You grasp the iron crank, feeling the cold metal bite into your palm, and begin the long rhythmic process of winding the weights back to the top. It is a slow physical labor, the gears clicking with a heavy metallic resonance that echoes through the hollow shaft of the tower. Click, click, click. The sound is hypnotic, a heartbeat for the building itself. You feel the tension in your shoulders and the steady pull of your muscles, a grounding sensation that connects you to the very bones of the lighthouse. Midday brings a period of stillness. The sun is high, turning the surface of the ocean into a sheet of hammered silver. You sit on the gallery outside the lantern room, the wind tugging gently at your coat, and look out at the infinite expanse of water. You observe the different shades of blue, the pale turquoise of the shallows, the deep indigo of the trenches, and the white foam that gathers around the base of the rocks like lace. You might spend an hour simply watching a single patch of kelp as it rises and falls with the swells drifting aimlessly in the current. Your thoughts are as slow as the clouds moving across your mind without leaving a trace. In the afternoon, you retreat to the small dwelling attached to the tower to prepare your evening meal. The kitchen is small and dim, lit by a single tallow candle. You peel a potato with a small sharp knife, the skin curling away in a single continuous spiral. You listen to the hiss of the kettle on the cast iron stove and the soft bubbling of a pot of stew. Everything in your life has a place. The tin plates are stacked neatly on the shelf. The jars of flour and salt are tightly sealed against the damp, and the floor swept clean of every grain of sand. You eat slowly, savoring the warmth of the food and the simplicity of the moment, while the shadows begin to lengthen across the cliffs outside. As the sun touches the horizon, painting the sky in bruises of purple and gold, the most important part of your day begins. You return to the lantern room to light the wick. You strike a long match, the sulfurous scent filling the small space for a brief second before the flame takes hold. You carefully trim the charred edges of the wick with a pair of silver shears, ensuring the flame is even and steady, producing no smoke to cloud the glass you spent all morning cleaning. The light grows, reflecting off the prisms and filling the room with a brilliant, white radiance that makes the coming night feel distant and powerless. You spend the first few hours of darkness in a high-backed wooden chair, watching the light rotate. The mechanism moves with a ghostly silence, the giant lens floating on a bed of mercury to reduce friction. Every 15 seconds, the beam sweeps across the dark water, illuminating the crests of the waves for a fleeting heartbeat before plunging them back into shadow. You follow the beam with your eyes, a rhythmic exercise that soothes the mind. The world is reduced to this: the light, the dark, and the mechanical pulse of the rotation. You are the guardian of the threshold, a silent witness to the vast, empty night. The temperature drops as the midnight hour passes, and you wrap a heavy wool coat around your shoulders. You check the oil levels in the reservoir, pouring the thick, amber liquid through a funnel with a steady hand. You listen to the glug of the oil as it fills the tank, a domestic, comforting sound in the midst of the wild Atlantic. You check the clock, a heavy brass instrument on the wall, and note the time in your logbook with a quill pen. Your handwriting is neat and utilitarian, recording the wind direction, the visibility, and the steady functioning of the light. Each entry is a testament to the order you maintain in the face of the chaos of the sea. Toward the end of your watch, as the sky begins to turn a very deep, translucent gray, a sense of profound calm settles over the tower. The ocean seems to breathe in a slower, deeper rhythm, and the wind dies down to a mere whisper. You stand on the gallery one last time, looking out at the world before it wakes. There are no ships on the horizon, only the stars beginning to blink out as the light of the sun prepares to return. You feel a deep satisfaction in the knowledge that you have kept the light burning through the darkest hours, a silent sentinel for travelers you will never meet. Now, as the first pale light of dawn touches the edges of the clouds, you may finally rest. You extinguish the flame with a gentle puff of breath, watching the last tendril of smoke curl up toward the ceiling. You descend the stairs for the final time today, your footsteps light and weary. You settle back into your narrow bed, the wool blanket heavy and warm against your chest. The sound of the sea is a distant lullaby, a constant, unchanging presence that will be there when you wake and will be there long after you're gone. Close your eyes now. The light is off, the day is new, and you are safe within the stone walls. Sleep. The tide is coming in. Sleep. The tower is strong. Sleep.